Hello. This is another episode of the H870 Podcast. I am Gary, and I'm glad you are here with us for episode 22. This is going to be a very good one, so hold on tight. So let's get a few things out of the way. Per the usual, please go and follow our socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things. Go on Spotify. Please go on there and follow the podcast. Give us 5 stars, and help out our algorithm there. We would really appreciate that. And go back to listen to some episodes that you missed. There's some good episodes with, Mr. Daryl Sykes and with Israel Finn and with Alex Turpin. So go back and kind of binge listen to all the podcasts if you've missed any, or listen to them a second time. Do what you want to do. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. So there is a show tonight. And so when you're hearing this episode next week, it will be past tense, and the smoke would have been cleared, and all the cleanup will be, all the cleanup will have been, done, and the memories will be locked into our brains, and so and will be chatted about on social media. So, and I'm talking about the Delirium Effect EP release show happening tonight. It's with Grandma Chandelier helping out with the Catalyst and with the Scatterguns and with Sleuthfoot. And I happen to have 2 of the members of the Delirium Effect here sitting in my kitchen / living room / dining room thing. So without any further ado, welcome, Mr. Brett, Mr. Storm of Delirium Effect. What's up, guys?
Doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Good to see you, gentlemen, all dressed in black.
Yeah, as always.
I told Brett when he walked in this morning, I said, thanks so much for wearing the Alan Jackson shirt. It's my favorite shirt.
I knew. I was getting ready this morning. I said, well, I'm going to see Gary. I got to go on the Alan Jackson shirt.
He just has the best shirt. Like, he truly has the best shirt of anybody in this band.
That's what I do. Every night I'm just sitting here. Me and my wife are just scrolling. We're like, hey, that's a great outfit I do.
Do you remember Clueless? About, she's like trying to figure out what she's going to. Am I too old for. You guys have seen Clueless, yeah?
All right.
Oh yeah, so she's trying to figure out what's gonna match for school that day. She's like matching up this top with this skirt, and I'm like, I feel like I can imagine Red at home with similar type technology organizing his outfits.
I got multiple outfit changes planned for the show.
Oh, you do really? Oh, I didn't even know about that.
It's like those quick change people. Everyone spoke to American.
Oh yeah,
America's Got Talent. I was like, well, how are they doing that? We need like a hardcore version of quick change.
I am genuinely the polar opposite. I will throw whatever on. The first thing I got in the laundry basket, grab it, and then I'm done.
The Metallica shirt you're wearing is the one you were wearing in the music video.
That's what I wore. I did actually plan this one out a little bit because I wore it for the video, and that was it.
I gotta say, Storm's hair was iconic in that video. It was beautiful. How it was just like. All Fabio waving in the wind.
That was 100% the plan. I think that was the whole plan for that shot.
I was like, man, I said, Storm. I don't know if I could pull that off. Like balancing myself on one leg, one knee propped up on a pickup truck.
Well, the original idea was I was going to sit on top of the truck and with my legs hanging over the windshield, which. It could have been possible, right. But the more we started thinking about it, we were like, maybe we shouldn't. Because we were going, I don't know, you were driving it. How fast do you think we were going?
I mean, we were maybe.
Probably done it. I'm talking about like it's super dangerous. I could have probably done it, but yeah, we ended up just, that was Rob's idea, just to be like, hey, just lean on the back of it.
Just don't hit the brakes.
Yeah. Oh.
Speaking of that, did you guys say we drove by, was it Jordan's house?
That still blows my mind.
That was Jordan's house. That's like where we practice. I'm like, what? There's no way.
Yeah. Like my mom and my stepdad, that's where we shot. Like a lot of the stuff, like the pool, the hot dogs, all that stuff was there. And she's lived there for 13 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just can't believe it's been neighbors because it's basically neighbors. I mean, it's genuinely like 15 minutes, not even 2 minutes down the road. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Jordan's like, they're like 3 houses down.
Yeah.
was like the best ever. I go, I'm pretty sure they don't know where we practice. But I go, that would be even better. It was like a day that we were practicing.
Oh
And
yeah,
and we looked out, and we kind of looked out on a break, and here comes this, like,
just
what is
the
going
truck.
on?
It's kind of funny though, because the whole time in my head, I was like, I hope whoever lives near here isn't bothered by us doing all this. And then it
It turns out, yeah.
turns out, no, they probably would have been cool with it.
I was hoping they were watching. That's right. Every car that was coming up, I was like, I hope they're watching this.
Did that happen? Like, you have, like,
Oh yeah, so I'm driving the truck, and then Rob and Sydney Halcomb, they're filming in another vehicle, so we're having to take up both lanes, and we had to reshoot that shot probably 10 times
no
because
Yeah.
way.
every time we'd start to get on the road, we're like, oh, car, like the little joke where the kids are trying to set up the street
Exactly.
hockey game, and then they have to, oh, car, and just pull everything off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then luckily the solo wasn't too long, so we didn't have a lot of time. I mean, it was like 20 seconds we had. We just had to make sure no cars.
Yeah, you're not pulling out like November rain.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, bro. So whose idea was that concept? Like,
It was definitely a collaborative effort. I mean, the truck was, I think, my idea. I think I was just sitting up at night and I was like, it'd be really cool if I'm standing or sitting down on top of the truck for the solo. The hot dogs was his idea, which that one was, you can talk about
We've been planning the video out, and it was around the 4th of July, and every 4th of July I try to go real hard. So this year, my favorite brand, if people can't tell, if they see me in public, they would know my favorite brand of shorts and stuff is Chubbies. That's why I'm always wearing like the
gotcha.
shortcuts, and they have these what they call coveralls. That's that American flag little overall short set, and they have it every year. And I've been looking at it every year, but I don't pay $120 for this. But they put it on sale, and I was like, all right, this is the year. This is the 4th of July outfit. And then it was around the time of the 4th, and then there was a whole controversy that that Joey Chestnut, the hot dog eating champ. He started sponsoring a vegan brand of hot dogs,
Yeah,
so
right
they
about
like
this.
kicked him off the
Oh,
hot
shoot.
dog
I didn't
contest.
know
And
about that.
I was like, this is the funniest thing. So silly that there's like hot dog eating contest controversy. And then when we were talking about the video, we're like, let's just make kind of a goofy video where we're just doing all kinds of stuff. And I was like, there's just got to be these hot dogs, and there's just got to be.
It's
Gotta
gotta
cook up
be
these
these
hot dogs, and I just want to show up to the different scenes that they're filming. Like, hey, here's this hot dog.
Bro.
Then I want this Brady Bunch style shot where we're just all riding a hot dog, and that's where that part came from. But I really loved the process we went through on this video because in the past and of our old videos, you see we're very serious.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
about to say that. Yeah. This was like, I mean, I think with this new EP and just with this, I guess you could just say this new era for the band, we just kind of wanted to drop a little bit of the, I guess, mystery or seriousness, like he was saying. I don't know.
Sure.
All of us as individuals are not very serious people by any means, and then we wanted to represent like us, like as people.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and we just didn't want to like play an act or anything like we've kind of done in the past with old videos, just trying to be like dark and
Sure. Yeah.
spooky.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was really, I would say, the main inspiration for this was just like it's us. We're just having a good time.
I like it because it comes off very. It's a hardcore EP.
Yeah.
And it's just you being you and being yourself. From the sound and the aesthetic into like the video and just being. I'm calling you goofballs because it's awesome because and all in all, I mean, because when we all kind of get together for shows and everything, we're just this is us. This is who we are. This is like if you see me on a regular day, this is me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. There is no like you said, there is no mystery or whatever. Sometimes I think it's a good day and age to kind of for that aesthetic and that message and everything. I go, this is good. This is so awesome. It's so good to kind of like excuse the pun, but it's just another flavor of like 870, underground. I love it. So I mean, kudos to the EP. How did the new how did the new era get started? Is that a good way to ask?
Well, I was out, as I'm sure I think Turpin brought up whenever he was on. I was out of the band for about 2 years, and I came back, and at the time it looked like the band might have been ending, and I don't know, it made me really sad. I didn't want to see that happen,
Sure.
and I think I had done a lot of it, a lot of growing over those 2 years, and kind of understanding what I really wanted to do with music. So we talked about it. Me and Brett did, and it was like, you know what? Let's just come back and let's just write some new music. And at that time, the whole like I guess the ethos, I guess would be the word of it, is to just simplify things.
Sure.
Because I felt like we were very complicated in some ways, not in all ways, but in some ways we were pretty complicated with just how our writing process was, and everything was really just a lot of thinking was going into it. Not that that's a bad thing, but it was sometimes too much, and it would
Sure.
like stall our process, and we'd be sitting on a song for 2 3 months, just one song, like
Right.
and I love those songs still, all the from the first album, but I think that was kind of what got us together. Is we just want to have fun. We want to write heavy riffs that make
Yeah.
people bop their heads.
Yeah.
And not play up anything. Just So I guess that would be how that kind of got started. Was just
Simplify.
simple. I think that excited everybody.
And I would say so I would say this probably starts maybe back 2022.
Mhm.
So around that time, this was the point Storm had stepped out.
Mhm.
Robert Halcomb, Weaving Gate, had been playing guitar with us, been apart for a while, and he's done so much for us, and his band is so amazing.
Sure.
Can't ever thank him enough. But around that time, so we'd got an offer to play this festival that was going to be coming up in Kentucky. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
The Kentucky Irate
Irate
Festival and all the.
That was dumb.
Turned into such a dumpster fire.
Holy
and
crap.
I don't know about everybody else, but for me personally, when that all fell apart, it was like we had so much kind of like planned around that, and it was going to be such a big deal for us. And I just kind of went through the motions that whole year after it while we were still doing stuff.
Gotcha.
And then we played Metal Mayhem Fest in Jonesboro, the 2023 version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just didn't do anything for a long time. I mean, at the time, our former guitarist Tanner had moved to Nashville. We were having so much trouble getting anything going. I mean, Robert already lived in Little Rock. It was hard to do anything. And then we just sat there and we just didn't do anything. And then this Metal Mayhem Fest, they were looking for bands for it. And I just messaged the guys. I was like, guys, if we're not going to, do anything anymore, let's just call this a farewell show. Let's get Storm back in. Let's play one more and go out. And then luckily, Storm was like, hey, I don't really want to go out like this. I'd like us to keep doing stuff. And
Sure.
Then, at the time, Tanner and DJ decided to step away, and in all the respect to what they previously provided to the band. But once we decided to keep going, these songs, I think this whole 6-song EP came faster than one single song that we had written back on the Eternal album.
Sure. The turnaround rate
flowed a lot better.
Yeah, like whenever like DJ and Tanner, they had plenty of other stuff going on too. And I think whenever I came back, it kind of looked like it was about the time commitments were start to ramp up.
Sure.
And I think that's mainly the reasons why they left. And with that being said, that was a guitarist and a synth player. So just alone, that was like two pretty vital aspects of the band that just went away overnight. And we could have spent time finding another guitarist or finding another keyboard player. We could have done it. And I just think we were all too excited. And we thought, let's just try let's just try one guitar, one bass, one vocal, one drum, and just go with it. And I'm glad we did, because I think it was a great decision. I'm the most proud about this music.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So were you sitting on like riffs, or were you listening to things like, were you in the basement of your lair and lab, like writing riffs, or what were you listening to, or what was the influence behind this? Like, as far as musicality, like, where's all this coming from?
Well, if they know about this, on my computer, There is a folder that is probably, and this is not a joke, probably up to 2,000 demos and files. I don't stop. I constantly just record. And there's some of them are like 30 seconds,
Oh yeah,
45
yeah, yeah.
seconds, but so there's a lot of stuff to pull from. Granted, though, all this stuff for Point Blank was all just written
Awesome,
stuff.
dude. Awesome.
But what I was going to say was like, it was hardcore. I mean,
Right.
at the time, I was kind of getting out of the style. This is actually going back to why I left. I just wasn't feeling it. It's just one of those classic. I just wasn't feeling the inspiration for the kind of music that we were playing, and it sucks when that happens. But I just started to find that I wanted to do something different. That fire, kind of burnt out a little bit. And then, I'm a real big fan of thrash. I always have been a big fan of 80s thrash, 90s thrash. Well, not all 90s thrash, but some of it. But yeah, and I really love that style of riffing. And I was completely green to hardcore. I had absolutely no history except for listening to some, metalcore bands that existed in the mid to early 2000s, which you could say would fit generally in that scene.
Right.
But I didn't have a history with it. And I discovered it through, of all bands, Power Trip.
Yo. What is going on?
Yeah, and it's weird. I just heard Power Trip for the first time, and this was 2021, I think. That's how late I was to that.
Oh, man, still.
And I heard him, and I was like, this is what I want. This is it. Like, this is what I want. I want to do just shorter songs they have so much energy and kind of thrash style riffs, but just have like breakdowns and things like that. I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And this was already after I'd pretty much left the band. So for like the next 2 years, I'd just been listening to so many, just going down the rabbit hole of so many bands.
There's so many.
And yeah, there really is. And getting so into it and learning a lot of songs and just starting to get influenced by it, writing my own music. And that's kind of where, that trajectory happened from kind of like the way Eternal sounds the way it sounds to what Point Blank sounds like. So yeah,
that's cool, man. That's cool. Because like that crossover stuff, they started playing that. Well, you know what? What's so weird? I don't know if I brought this story up before though, but when I was in New York and I was in 10th grade, I lived like in townhouse apartments. It's a big apartment, townhouse city. Anyway, like and I had a buddy who lived like in some other apartments behind, so we kind of walked behind our townhouses, alongside the fence, and I'm at his place, at his like apartment complex, and there's this guy who used to come over. And I remember, like, this was 89, 1990 or whatever. And, like, this guy would come over. He was wearing a Metallica shirt, and he began to riff around on his guitar. And the riffing was like, it wasn't like, it's something I never heard before. It was, but, in retrospect, I knew it was thrash style guitar. And I remember being so, like, that is the coolest thing. It's so rhythmic. I was really into hip hop and things like that. I go, that is so rhythmic. It's kind of like it's got to bring the noise track on the Public Enemy records. Anthrax we would kind of play on that. It was that type of style, and I go, I loved it. I didn't know how to access it or anything like that. It wasn't like a year later until I found like hardcore. Like that stuff is so good. Like because I'm really like Drain and like Mind Force, and they use like the thrash. I mean the thrash because Mind Force can write like killer threat. Because I got into prong during that time. Like that one Beg the Different record was like one of my favorite records, and that's a killer thrash riffs,
Yeah.
And I'm like hearing like all these V-way riffs, and Mind Force is like it's like fast riff, setup, biggest breakdown you've heard your entire life, and it's an E standard. I'm like, what is happening?
That is the greatest part about that band.
And JP is my favorite, from it, but that's that's what I kind of got from this release you guys did. Just shorter songs, tight riffs, big breakdowns, and just kind of getting right down to it. You know what I'm saying? And I love it, man. I love it.
I love how you mentioned Mind Force and Drain, though, because those were two very big influences.
Yeah.
Huge influence. Maybe less so on Mind Force, but Drain, I just love them. Yeah. It's a fun, and that's speaking about the just kind of the no dark, no mystery thing. They're just fun. They're just fun dudes.
And that's exactly right. So you're not going to go like, we saw in Little Rock, and it's like, homie's like, most optimistic dude you'll ever see, like that, like wearing no dark t-shirts, wearing the same gray shirt throughout the whole tour, these bright, short shorts for all the bands, the guitarist and the singer and everybody. Just they're having a good time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what hardcore is. This is what it should be.
Yeah.
So it's great, man.
But yeah, that's definitely it's just fun. I don't know. I'm so excited about especially even the future of the band too, and just what we've got. I think we're gonna probably start cooking some stuff up too, under the surface, as we're starting to play more shows. And I've got so many ideas. I'm just excited.
It's perfect timing too. I
Yeah.
think things are looking really good for. I was talking to Cameron, a little while ago, and I was like, take a snapshot of this year. I said, keep it because next year you cannot compare this year and next year. It'll be quite different. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be better. More bands, and everybody should start a band. Everybody, if you can, start a band. There's never too many. I think the more bands we have, and the better, and the scene will thrive. Especially younger kids need to start a band.
Yeah,
I for agree. Sure.
That was a cool thing with the Metal Mayhem Fest, because with the more limited availability we kind of have for venues around here, a lot of times you don't get to do many all ages shows.
Right.
But that one was an all ages show, and I remember I talked to these couple of kids. I think they were like 14, and they were just like, "Yeah, we just heard about this," and they were like, "We've been listening to Metallica, Mudvayne," and then it sort of rattled these off, and I was like, it just reminded me of me at 14,
absolutely,
like, hearing those bands for the first time, and then going out to a show, and then they're like, "Yeah, I'm playing guitar, and he's going to be the bassist," and it was just awesome. It just felt like I was like looking back in like 20 years or so to whenever I was like that age, and I was sitting there and like just discovering it for the first time, because it just I still remember it. It just goes with me all these years. It just feels like magic, whenever you're like starting to hear these bands, whenever you're seeing these shows for the first time.
You use the right word.
Yeah, and it was just so cool to see that.
It is just like magic. Do you remember like when you stepped in? When you took the blue pill.
So yeah, whenever I first started playing, like I'd started getting into some of the bands. Like I remember some of the first stuff. I mean, I used to listen to a bunch of like Perfect Circle and Tool, and then my friends were like, "Hey, check out the Slipknot." I mean, it first started with like my mom introducing me to Metallica. I mean,
your mom introduced you to Metallica?
I mean, she wasn't a fan of the thrash year 80s stuff. She's introducing me to the Black Album, which was still good. And she's like, "I don't really like this." And I was like, "No, this is awesome." And then
awesome.
In high school, people started introducing me to stuff. I remember friends like, "You got to listen to Trivium," and then I was like, "I don't like these screaming man." But now Trivium is like one of my all-time favorite bands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and but I remember they started introducing me to that, and I was like, "Man, this stuff is so cool." It's like I could never like play music or anything. But then one of my best friends, Brandon Wright, he comes to me when we were in high school, and he's like, "I got this band. We need a guitarist, so you're gonna have to learn to play guitar to be in this band."
You're gonna have to.
Yeah. So I started picking it up, and I was like, "No, this is so much fun," And then I remember one of the first shows I went to. I want to say it was okay. So there used to be a band in the that kind of mid 2000s, 2005, 6 called Bargain Brace. They were more like a hard rock metal band.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, and bass player Jason used to host these shows. They called it the Dungeon, and it was like
oh my gosh, I remember those.
Yeah, and I remember going out to one of those shows, and then the first band I remember that really stuck with me was a band around the time called Facecast.
Oh my gosh, dude!
They were all from Paraguay.
They were.
Yeah, and I remember like just watching them. I was like, these riffs are so good, man. I was like, I want to like be doing this, And I was kind of funny because so then I get involved with a band. It's called 0 Hours. James, the drummer from Killer Operating System, some of the guys from Pain Break, and they were in this competition. It's called Bodog Battle of the Bands. it kind of had a short lifespan, but this was like one of those battle of the bands. You come on and make it through the rounds, and then the bands that made it to the top 10, and I think they did this. I didn't ever watch it, but the top 10 got to be on like a reality show where they were going
What?
for $1 million contract.
Hmm.
So we made it past 2 rounds of Memphis. We got to play in Atlanta, which was really cool. We didn't make it past that round. There was another Atlanta round, and then after that, those were the 10 bands that were picked from those regional ones. But it was still a cool
No
experience at like
way.
19 to be playing with these guys and going and doing that. But
That's crazy.
it's kind of what brought me in, which was then funny because the next band I started, our first show, I was thinking about that the other day. It was the first time I met you. It's the first time I met Brody and Jake Betts. First time I met Lonnie. I don't know if you remember. It was the Commonwealth, or the September 21st, and it was like 2009.
Okay.
I had a band called Sever the Memory. It
Yep.
was our first show. We were playing with Brody and Jake's band, Bring the Storm.
Yep.
Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome. And then As Hope Perishes.
Bro.
And I remember that was the first time I met you.
Crazy.
And then that was the night that they like blew the breaker or something when As Hope Perishes started playing.
That dumb breaker in that place.
But I just, that memory's always stuck with me because I remember we get up there and I'd never seen, you know, like I was more in heavy metal, the thrash metal, the death metal bands.
Mhm.
So everybody was doing like push moshing and stuff, and I'd never experienced like hardcore dancing. I remember that show was packed because they were there, like Chattanooga and Asshole Parishes at the time. They were just piled in for that. And I just remember we had like this breakdown of this first song, and then right whenever it hit, a bunch of because they were just starting hardcore dance. So I was like, "What is this? So cool! They're actually like enjoying this." But
ain't that awesome? I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one. I mean, when that just that response, like when like whatever, like a breakdown hits or a great two-step hits, and everybody's like, that's just the greatest. I think that's why I do what I do anyway. Mine is kind of second or third or fourth, is that when that reaction hits. So I could imagine you're like first breakdown, like this is incredible.
Yeah.
This is awesome. But Sever the Memory, man. Yeah. 2009, dude. That's like,
I did, yeah. That was a great spot back there.
That was crazy. That was a good show too. And I think at that time there was a lot of bands, a lot of bands. So I think we're kind of getting back up to the whole. And I really, I mean, and I'm gonna have to go back to that thing, but really, I mean, young kids really kind of need to start bands. I don't care what kind of band it is, but they just need to start them up, and hopefully we can kind of like influence some of that. I'm thinking of one kid in particular. He needs to start a band. But anyway, so you got kind of smitten with your mom introducing you to Metallica. Then it kind of grew into you kind of being a Trivium fan. Grew accustomed to the screaming or whatever. But you mentioned Facecast, and I go, it seems like I remember somebody who was a member of Facecast. If somebody started rattling names of dudes who were Facecast, it probably would oh, I know that dude. Because you'd always run into people. Because what was so cool back then, because like there was kind of like this crisscross where kind of like people who were kind of like metalcore, hardcore kind of crossing. It's like dudes. Because I had like I think we did one show, and a dude from Pain Break left a ton of merch. He left it behind, and I kept on trying to get it back to him. I think it was a bunch of CDs, but a bunch of Pain Break CDs. Anyway, I ended up keeping a bunch because we never had. So, whatever. How about you? So when did you first kind of get bitten by the?
Well, that's well. Speaking of parents introducing to music, my dad was really big into progressive rock, like '70s, King Crimson, yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer,
Really?
Genesis. Yeah, that was all I heard.
Was he a musician?
He played a little bit of. He kind of, he played a little bit of bass, played a little bit of drums. Never really fully delve into it, but it just kind of messed around. And I wasn't, it's one of those things where, you're a teenager, you're like, I don't like this music. This music sucks. I don't like it. As I've gotten older, though, I've grown to really appreciate a lot of that stuff. Totally different than what we make, but still, appreciate it. But I would say the bug bit me whenever I was probably like 12, maybe. I'd say about 12 years old. And I heard Linkin Park for the first time. And I think a lot of people got bit by that bug early on. I mean, they were everywhere, you know what I mean? And I just, at the time, I didn't even know what it would be like labeled. I was just I was like, I don't know, but these guitar riffs are really like, aggressive.
Oh yeah.
And then there was screaming, and I was like, I don't even know what that is, but it makes me feel something, and I'm excited about it. And I just became like the biggest super fan of Linkin Park for a while. And then weirdly, the next band that I just sort of discovered is Bullet from a Valentine. Just a weird.
That's a jump.
That's a weird jump, I know. But it was more of what I wanted from them, from Linkin, because it was more screaming, it was more riffs, it was more breakdowns, and things like that. Yeah. And I mean, I would say, it was probably Poison. I think it was probably that record. It was either that or their EP that I first heard. Then that went on to August Burns Red.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Man, you're just making these leaps.
Yeah, I know. It makes no sense. Like, awesome. It went to August Burns Red, and then that's where I got into drumming.
Oh, okay.
Because I started off as a drummer.
Okay.
I was definitely not a guitar. I still think I'm a better drummer than I am a guitarist to this day.
Dang.
But when I first heard August Burns Red, and I just was hearing all the crazy crap that Matt Greiner from that band does, it just sent me off. I was like, I have to play drums now. Dude. So I just started buying drumsticks and didn't get a kit for a while because they're pretty expensive. So I was just basically beating on anything I could find, just hitting stuff and trying to get like rhythm down. And it wasn't until I met Trey Huckabee from in high school. I think I was in freshman year. I might have even been junior high. It's kind of lost on me now. And he was starting a band. And I told everyone around school, I'm a drummer. I don't own a drum kit, but I'm a drummer. And then he was like, I'm looking for a drummer. And I heard you're a drummer. And I was like, yeah, I'm a drummer. I know how to play drums. So he's like, well, you should come over after school, and I've got this band I'm starting called Resurrection. I don't know if that name rings any bells because we played probably 5 shows, but it was a very weird band, and it was just us honestly just messing around, like you were talking about. We were just really young.
Yeah,
we don't even know what we were doing. He just liked to play riffs, and he was really big in like 80s glam.
Oh,
like
sweet.
Poison and Motley Crue and stuff like that. He was really into that. And then I was into August Burns Red. So it made the connections were so strange. So he was playing like 80s glam riffs and I was doing breakdowns with chinas and double bass. But we developed though. We really did. Like over time, we just kind of started to piece together something that was a little bit more cohesive. I think we were probably a, in quotes, band for 3 years before we played a show. Before we ever went live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We just jammed. I mean, it was really just a jam band.
That's sweet.
Get off school, beat the crap out of some drums,
love it,
play really loud, and then go home. But and then I learned guitar from Trey, and also shout out to his band Lethe in Tucson, Arizona. So not around here, but those guys are great. So I just want to shout them out.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, dude.
And I think I learned guitar from Trey, and then started picking up on that. And I think,
all right, Fly is like. Yes, like in the next week, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, the next thing is I got into guitar through him, and he kind of showed me just here's how you palm mute, here's how you do a pinch harmonic.
Oh,
and I was like, and then I started playing on the cabs and the amps, and I was like, I don't, I was like kind of leaving drums behind me. I was like, I don't want to look at them because I'm playing guitar. And then eventually I just transitioned to playing guitar on my own in my free time. And then, as I said, a bit of a hermit. I just kind of made songs and stuff, on my own in my house. After Resurrection, I wasn't in a band all the way until Delirium Effect.
So when was Delirium Effect? I mean, I know Alex was on here, but when did that get started?
March of 2018.
March of 2018. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was real excited whenever that started kind of coming together because, I mean, like Alex said when he was on here, I mean, for the majority of the time we've been playing music, if one of us is in a project, the other one has been in the project, me and Alex. And, I remember Resurrection. I've always thought a lot of Storm as a musician.
Right.
So it was real cool whenever he wanted to get together and do something. Then Jordan, our drummer, he moved down here and moved back here. I want to say in like 2012. And then at the time, me and Alex had another band that we were playing in, and we needed a drummer. And I was like, well, I just met this Jordan. I brought him in, but at the time I was kind of burnt out. So right as soon as I brought Jordan in, I was like, I gotta step away for now. So yeah, that was always kind of a joke where he's like, I've really known you longer than everybody else here, but like you just kind of like left right whenever you got me in the band. I was like, oh, man. So whenever it started kind of coming together with,
So you guys knew each other before.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well,
Okay.
He was actually the. Were you in Resurrection for a period of time, or am I mistaken?
no, whenever I got done with college in like 2012, I was like, I want to get some experience trying to like work
That's
with
right.
bands
That's what.
and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of management stuff. I'm gonna try to help with
Yeah.
social media and stuff. So it was a very short-lived thing, but the band I really worked with was Resurrection, so like we did a little bit trying to help with social media and all that. It was more of a learning experience than anything.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so like I knew them for the longest time, and like I said, I always thought a lot of Storm as a musician. So
That's right.
whenever Alex hits me up and he's like, "Hey, we're forming this band with these guys," because also at the time, when we first formed the band, Nick Sparkman, who was in previous bands, Alex, phenomenal guitarist, now he's killing it as a dad. But
Awesome.
he was involved, and it just was like whenever I heard all the names, I was like, yeah, no, this is great. This is like all the people I would love to be making some music with. So,
Right. Well, Alex talks about how you went from guitar to bass, and he bragged about your bass skills. You're a good bassist.
well, I was never like a great guitarist, like, and that's
I disagree. I think he's good.
Yeah, I don't know about.
I I didn't put as much effort as I should have into it. I guess would be a more accurate statement.
Okay,
So
we'll give you that, buddy.
yeah,
That's it.
because like whenever I tried to come up with songs, there was a lot of stuff I liked, but then I was also definitely like going from guitar to bass. Yeah, so
Yeah, guitar to bass. Yeah.
yeah, that was I'd done guitar on a few projects, and then I was like, hey, I need a bassist in this band, and I was like, yeah, I'll try that out. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily what I want to do, and then from then on, once you like play one note on a bass, you're labeled a bassist.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like a curse.
You hit a note. You're a bassist.
Yeah, I hit the note, and then it was like the air just started, the fog started rolling in. It was like curse.
Yeah, every musician in a room just had like a ding, and they're like, "There's a new bassist."
Yeah, and that's all he does. Yeah.
So what was your response, like Brett, as far as like, you start hearing like, hey, this is the plan, man. We're gonna write shorter songs, riffier songs, breakdowns, the whole thing. Like, so like I picture Storm like he's pitching this with like he has like this whole like he has just a race board, and he's like, you guys are sitting on the couch, and he's got this magic marker going. Okay, so he goes, here we got shorter songs.
Yeah.
Here we got.
I do have an eraser board in the office.
So what was the? I granted, and you guys were definitely with it, but like, as far as like, if that had to spark like a new. I know what it is like for me. I know we kind of started this thing back up, so I know what it's like for me. Like, hey, we're gonna start doing something a little different. Can you get that spark? You're kind of like, were you like, so what was your first impression? Like, oh yeah, or I could see this. Yeah, let's do that. Was that your initial first impression? Like,
Yeah, because talking about burnout, and I love the stuff we did on Eternal, but yeah, there was that period where, and in the band knows from like the stuff I always send in the chat whenever I'm always suggesting music and stuff, I'm always like, hey, look how great this new Every Time I Die is.
Yeah.
Hey, look how great stuff in that vein is, and
sure, yeah.
like I'm just constantly like, hey, can we do some more like breakdowns? Can we do some more of this? So really, it was like Storm was like just like serenading me whenever he was like, hey, let's do this, and I was like, yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
That's what I've been waiting for you to say for 6 years.
It sounded like it really was kind of like. It's like it coalesced really well because like we were kind of feel like, man, this thing's because you're like you're on. You sound like you were kind of on your way out, Brett. like this is going to be a farewell show. If this is it, or whatever. I
Yeah.
might be wrong, but then like Storm was like, well, I'm actually thinking.
I'm sitting over in a dark corner somewhere, just making music, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm in.
Well, it was, like I said, it was a long enough period of inactivity, and then it was like it had become so stressful to even try to put together a practice that it was just like,
Yeah.
we hadn't even talked in the chat for like 5 months at the point where I was like, hey, this show's coming up. If we're not going to do anything, let's just go ahead and do this, So, yeah, like, it wasn't like I ever wanted to stop doing it. Honestly, I had kind of gotten in a funk because I was like, and
I gotcha.
part of I want us to be doing
That
something.
makes sense.
And
that makes sense.
That's exactly where I came from too. Whenever he told me, like we were talking about earlier, is like when he said it was going to be a farewell show. It kind of hurt, and I didn't. I wasn't in the band at the time. I just didn't want to see that happen. Like because I had so many good memories, and I just cared about everybody in the band so much, and I was like, I don't want to see that.
There's a resurrection. No pun intended. What's up?
Yeah, I mentioned resurrection with a Z, by the way.
Okay.
That's how it was spelled. Yeah.
Well, I can tell like from just like the social media and just talking to Brett, every time I've ran into him and talking to Alex, he was on that there is like this breath of fresh air that was kind of in the area, and the spark of life is like with this new EP and everything and what you guys were doing, and especially and they all kind of met when I heard. I actually saw and heard that. I saw, seen and heard. Yeah. Anyway, I saw the video and I heard the song all at once, and it all kind of culminated all together. I go, rightfully so. You guys should be absolutely stoked and pumped and way. And you guys did a great job. I just want to say, did a fantastic job as far as like just promoting and promotion. Man, I cannot speak today. Anyway, these are new words. Look them up. Anyway, like so, don't at me. Anyway, so like, but you did a great job like promoting and kind of building up the anticipation for this thing. I think it was everything was. I mean, well, are you behind the social media thing?
That's especially helped.
So, Storm, is real heavy on the songwriting. Jordan's real heavy on helping the drums, and the beats. Turpin's real heavy on the vocals. I provide input. I'm not afraid to admit I probably have the least input on the songwriting aspect of it because I'm doing all the booking. I'm doing all the social media. I'm organizing everything else. So,
right.
I mean, plenty of work there, and I mean, I think it kind of helped that we had we started 2018, put out our first video, Phantom, to that October 2018. That period that led up to after COVID when we put out October 2021, put out the Eternal album.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I'd worked on with that kind of helped to look at that and then have that time off, and then we're basically it's almost like restarting a new band, but like it feels
I get it
new. So then I can like be like, okay, here's where I messed up here. Here's some better ideas, and I mean it's still always a learning process.
I get it 100%. And like because it just feels like with what we're doing, it's. I mean, you probably could call it a new band, but in fact, man, it's the spirit of like what we're kind of like. The spirit is still there,
Right.
and then the camaraderie between band members and everything. And I think to start calling it a different name is just like, we don't want to do all that. But so the spirit is still there, but like the songwriting and everything does change. And also too, like we as people when we kind of grow, we kind of like with life and everything else. So like things happen. So we're gonna write probably songs that are a little more, of course, more experience. Like I've had my depth between the last whatever version of I'm the Catalyst and now, I've had a lot of time just kind of to write, to experiment, and check out other bands, see what they're doing, and just kind of just like, does this work? Does that work? And sometimes it's funny how things just kind of like come together at the right time at the right place. Because sometimes you'll try to force it and it just doesn't happen. Like, and you're wondering like, man, I'm riffing. Does anybody care? That I'm just making riffs and I got no bag. I got no. I got nothing going on. But sometimes it's just not the right time and right place.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Milani kind of stepped in or whatever. It's like perfect. And Corey ran into this guy down in down in Little Rock. He plays bass. It's perfect timing. He's like the perfect, it's great and a perfect bass player for our band. So it's like I'm glad I had to wait for this kind of like this new period or whatever. And so I kind of get the impression with you guys. I kind of feel that too. It's like this is the right time. This is the right, the right music at the right time, the right, right group of guys to do this thing. So I mean, yeah, I mean, so
Yeah, like the puzzle pieces eventually fall in place. You
yeah,
know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like, yeah, I'm the most proud about this EP than I think any music I've ever done.
That's
Like
great.
that's how like I'm just like coming from the past album, and we're talking about how like this band started in 2018, but our first song we dropped was what 6 months after we started as a band, and then we pretty much were just like a digital only band for those
Gotcha, yeah.
first few years, and it's because what I mentioned earlier, which is taking us to like write music, just because our process was, and it's a lot to I'm a lot to blame for that, but it was just so, gosh, there was so much overthinking about everything. So, and I really think like that just, it wore down everybody, and talking about just
Gotcha.
kind of coming back to just simplifying things. It's a new energy, and it's so.
And that's such a great. I think that's something that like. I think that's kind of like. When you mentioned like you keep mentioning like this, like the to simplify things. I think that's kind of like what. That's kind of gets kind of where I'm at. I don't want to get because I listen to old Catalyst stuff like, oh my gosh, what do we, But like it seems like now it's just like, man, let's just break it down. Let's just kind of cut out all the guesswork. Let's do this. We want riffs and breakdowns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we want dance parts, basically. Really,
Yeah.
we're writing dance music.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sounding great. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. What's so the cover? I'm interested in like in the cover of the EP. Like, where is that? What is the shot of? What is that?
That would be me and my girlfriend driving around here in Paragon, and we were just honestly, I don't really know where the idea came from. I just wanted something that looked dirty,
Yeah,
hot, grimy, rusty.
you did
just,
good.
Like that was really a big theme for it. With the entire EP was just feeling like I just said, like hot and rusty and kind of dirty and kind of gritty sounding. And so we were just driving around. That is near, that brewery that's here in town. That's like one of those railroad tracks.
The Mead.
Next to Briggs, I think is like it's an
Oh,
old
really?
abandoned building.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there. I don't know what it is.
Dang, that's
I just
awesome.
drove by and I was like, that looks good. And then I took a bunch of pictures that day, but that one just kind
That's
of
awesome.
it just kind of fit what I was imagining whenever I was writing the music. So.
It really looks good. Like the video and that album cover is perfect. You know what I'm saying? I could bring out like this is Arkansas, man. But
Yeah.
Not only is this Arkansas, this is like Northeast Arkansas.
Yeah.
So welcome.
That's exactly that's a big part of it too. Is like I wanted it to kind of capture that look where I think Jordan, our drummer, whenever I showed that picture, he was like, "Yeah, that looks like Paragould. That looks like Arkansas." And I was like, "There you go. That's what I need to." You know what I mean?
Awesome.
yeah, that's a good point. It's like, yeah, this is not just Arkansas. This is Northeast Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different world than.
Yeah, it's
than
very
Arkansas.
different. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why me and the guys were kind of talking and go, we really kind of just need to embrace that. I was like, we're from Arkansas, dude. This is where we're from.
Mhm.
This is what we do. And this is the 870. I mean, let's just kind of like, it is what it is, and we're kind of putting our own spin on it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I think the culmination of all this would be, again, with Chattanooga getting back together and just like pull all this this Arkansas vibe together. But
Yeah.
and I like so there's a show tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely want to. So we're expecting quite a few folks. Looks like we got quite a few who are interested. Last I checked was 60 interest. Well, 60 are coming. 170 were interested.
Yeah, on
It's
the
gone
event
up.
page.
On the event page, yeah.
And I mean, that's a much better response on an event page than I'm used to seeing. So, I mean, but also, I mean, I'm seeing plenty of people talk about it, that
I know.
haven't seen the event page or something. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty packed.
It's gonna be packed, I think, for sure.
It's going to be a long weekend. Like, I mean, we're here this morning.
Yeah.
We're going to that show tonight, tomorrow morning.
Yeah. You guys are going to Birmingham?
We're going to Birmingham, Alabama, play a True Story Brewing Company because I wanted to book something to try to help, make a little extra cash because that following morning we're going to do a lawn chair youth uncut shoot.
That's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah, Sunday morning we're doing that. So that I mean, by the time this is out,
Yeah.
already be up and out.
Be up and
for a
out and
few
everything.
days, yeah.
So talk about that. How did that kind of come about? I mean, I've looked, and that's a cool page. If you haven't gone through that page,
Oh, yeah.
it's really cool. I love it.
Well, I mean, the first time I'd heard of it, there's this awesome band, Yosemite and Black. They've got a Lawn Chair Use Uncut video on there that's pretty popular. It's like gaining a lot of traction. I mean, it sounded awesome, looked awesome. And then I started seeing some other bands that were doing the same thing. And then, you hear people talking about it, it's like, oh, yeah, all the hardcore bands now are going out to do that. Cool. And then, Alex and the Weeping Gate, they went down
they
there
did way out.
and did one. Spit Truth, who you
Yeah.
brought through here to Jonesboro last month, they did one. And seeing those, I was like, no, this is awesome. We need to try to
It's cool, man.
do this to help continue pushing that EP out.
Yeah.
So then worked out the dates, and I was like, well, let's try to
Yeah,
play a
dude.
show on them. And that's cool too, because when we're going to be down in Birmingham, we're playing with this awesome band, No Asylum. My buddy Bill Reeves plays in that band.
Okay.
Me and Alex's old band used to go play in Florence, Alabama a lot.
Okay.
Had some great shows there. It was such a cool scene,
Beautiful.
venue and stuff. He has a band, Random Conflict, that, I mean, they've been putting out, I don't even
Dang.
Yeah, he's been around, and he's just the coolest dude. He's like I don't know, he feels like the embodiment of like that punk hardcore.
Beautiful. Love it.
And he's just such a cool dude. And then I was like, hey man, we need a show down here. Yeah, if you can get that set up, try to get it. Yes, we got them on there.
Dude.
It's gonna be so cool to see him again. It's tonight seeing a lot of people that I
I
haven't seen in a while.
know.
It's just
I know. That's awesome. If you haven't seen like the Lawn Chair, was it Lawn Chair project? Is that what it's called?
Lawn Chair.
Lawn Chair Youth. It's like white, totally white background. All you got is a bunch of musicians in their gear.
Yeah, single shot.
Single shot.
That's and fun. It's great.
Love
I've heard so much good music from that.
Me too.
It's great. I mean, I think it's awesome. Why not? I mean,
yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's a great thing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
Hey, do you guys want some more coffee? I can make some. It's no big deal.
I think I'm good. I'm only on water for now. I just had a coffee before I came here.
I'm gonna make some, so if you hear it in the background, that's what it is.
Okay. All right. Awesome, dude. So tonight we have Grandma Chandelier. We got we love those boys. We got Sleuthfoot. You guys catch Sleuthfoot at the Metal Mayhem Fest?
Oh yeah.
That was my first time seeing them.
Oh really?
Yeah. What's the singer's name? I sat next to him at the merch table. Most incredible guy. Most incredible guy.
I hate this because Joe, I love the guy, and I talk to him all the time, but his Facebook name is something different, and it always
yeah, it confuses.
He's the most incredible guy. Like he was talking about like making merch and everything else, and how he makes his own merch, and I was like, it's so killer, dude. And he's the nicest dude ever.
I'm sorry, James.
Every time I see those guys, they're just they are tight. Like they are just such a
yeah, for sure.
Curtis, their drummer, for a period we played the band Captain Overboard Radio Earth.
Yeah.
We kind of came in to replace people that had previously been in it, and that's one of my that's one that always hurts because we had this plan for a double album, and I think we put out like 7 songs. And I don't feel like I would still finish.
Oh, gotcha.
That was such a fun band. I love the way Curtis approaches drums because I feel like he approaches drums differently than a lot of drummers do.
Right.
Normal drum beat might be like that, but then he's I don't know, just like throw it off, and the way he does that is just, I think, wonderful. One of my favorite drummers.
He's great, dude. He's a really talented guy. I mean, it's so good because like I was like that whole band is like super good dudes. Like, that was my first impression of the singer of Sleuthfoot. Forgive me for not remembering your first name. I think I did ask him his name when we were there, but like, what was the band full of nice guys? I think one of the guys from Swiftfoot hit up Stephanie one night. They were kind of chatting and talking and everything for a while. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna be nice. Who else we got there tonight? We got these guys from Cape Grotto called the Scatterguns, and that was actually I think Cody, the drummer. Like I have a coworker I work with. Her name's Carol, and so she said we were hanging out one day at work, and I'm like, so I need some Cape contacts, and maybe trying to get a show up in Cape or whatever. And she goes, hey, you should check out like the Scatterguns, and I'm friends with that band, and so lo and behold, they were kind of looking to they knew Sleuth but from before, and they played Cregan's before.
Yeah, about 2 years ago they were here. I was at that show.
Were you really?
Yeah, they're awesome. I can't wait to see them.
Oh, right, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I got to talk to Cody. I guess Cody used to mow my friend that worked. He used to mow her grass. It's like out of nowhere. So I got to ask him. That we're playing. You guys playing. I'm stoked. Yeah, there's gonna be lots of people there tonight. Lots of old faces and new faces. Like it's gonna be a nice family reunion. You guys gonna have merch there tonight?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Old
yeah,
merch.
we're still in the old merch just because any extra funds we've had, we're like, we need funds to travel to Alabama. We need funds for the concert.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then basically we had restocked some merch whenever we still had all these shows planned before this basically hiatus we had.
Sure.
So we restock it and then doing stuff. So yeah, we still got some of the old stuff now, but I think it's a really cool shirt. It's worth.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, because we got a new logo now too,
Yeah.
and so we're definitely looking to do a big just merch haul. Eventually, just get all kinds of new stuff with all that new logo printed on it, and we've got some ideas that I don't want to talk about yet. But
All right.
we've got
I
a
like
really,
it.
really great idea for a shirt coming soon, and that's his idea, and it's fantastic. I can't wait.
I like mystery. I like it. That's cool. Okay. Well, maybe we can this might be a good spot. Kind of switch gears. We can switch gears here.
We're about one in.
We are switching gears. Not that I'm very good at switching gears.
Beer? No, that's probably why our car doesn't
That's
work.
probably why our car don't work anymore. But this will be a nice gear switch. So what we like to do, like what we usually do, we do like a top 5 on the fly, like like 5 bands or 5 songs you kind of been rocking out, kind of lately. It's kind of caught your eye and you can't get enough of. But we can do like since there's 3 of us, we can just do 3 each. Down for that?
Yeah.
I mean, the math is mathing.
Huh?
Nothing.
3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9, if my calculations are correct. And it's a magic number. Okay, so all right. So we're gonna do top 5. We're gonna do top 5 on the fly, a little different. This is a top 3 on the knee. I don't know what the heck.
Top 3 on the knee.
We gotta figure out something. Okay. And talk about top 5 on the fly. There's a fly roaming around our house.
There were like 20 of them this morning. Israel was supposed to kill them before.
I don't know. He missed one.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
I think feels like the mosquito infestation in Arkansas has been replaced. Like once it gets warm, no matter where you are,
Yeah.
they're just coming out of nowhere. It used to just feel like mosquitoes.
Yeah.
As soon as it warmed up, were just flying out there. I think the flies have come in and just beat down. This is our turf.
This is hard.
AI flies.
You guys get out of here.
Yeah.
But we have that back porch, and like it's supposed to kind of keep all the bugs.
It's screened in.
It's screened in. It's supposed to keep everything out. But no, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, so are you guys prepared?
Brett,
you look ready. He's always ready.
he definitely prepared.
All at the same time. Are you getting your phones up? Okay,
yeah, I'm just gonna make sure.
I'll go ahead and start out because I'll let you guys. I'll kill some time and I'll find out. I think I already know my first one, and no particular order, of course. So my number 3 is going to be actually a band that's been around for quite a long time, since like 1993. I was educating Nora about it this morning. I go, this band has been around since 1993. It was probably one of the first releases, not the first, but one of the first releases off Tooth and Nail Records. They are the band is called Starflyer 59. They've put out like 21 records.
Gee.
It's crazy to
Wow.
me. And this new one is fantastic. It's called Lust for Gold. It's kind of he put out in the 90s. He did put out like a shoegazy. Time to time he put a shoegazy type record out. This one is probably the best thing ever. It's not too shoegazy. It's not too like Bloody Valentine or Bloody Valentine, but it's really he's got that baritone voice and those guitars. He got those like those. I don't know what you call them. So I don't have music lingo. I don't have it down, but like the spaghetti western type guitar sounds. This kind of like with reverb and delay on it, and it's just keyboard strings in the background, just very, very cool. It's like it's kind of like cool music, like something I would picture. Like I guess you'd be the type of band to probably open up for Morrissey or something like that. So, anyway, so Starflyer 59, Lust for Gold, the whole record is phenomenal. It's probably my favorite this year. Yeah. So who wants to go next?
So one I want to bring up, my buddy James Maynard. He used to live around here. He lives out in Colorado now. He has this phenomenal band called Get the Axe. I'm a huge Coheed fan, and they bring that Coheed and Cambria vibe. And Get the Axe. So it's the first song of their new album. It's called Survivor's Guilt. That's the name of the song. Forgive me if I mispronounce this. This album's called Saint Haligar and the Death of Cerberus. And so they've got these real epic songs.
That sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a story that goes in the album, and just it's a phenomenal piece of music, I think. And like, it's progressive metal, great, crisp, clean vocals, just really cool guitar parts. All of it is great. But Survivor's Guild, that's the first track on there. And start with that because I think you should listen to that entire.
Dude, yeah, people should listen to the entire record. Sure. Absolutely. I like it. Very cool. What? Storm's laughing.
I'm going to come out of really left field here because I'm just kind of looking at some of the stuff that I've been listening to a lot recently, and one of these is not like anything else we've talked about. Not Tight by Tommy and JD Beck, which is a like new jazz kind of group. It's a drummer. It's a drummer and a keyboardist. And the keyboardist, she plays bass with her feet. She has two different keyboards, and she plays like rhythm down here and lead up here. The drummer is the most insane drummer I think I have ever seen in my life. Like, and I think that's probably why I'm so drawn to him. But it's just, it's almost like if you took like a programmed drum beat, like an almost like I don't want to say a rap beat, just something kind of breakbeaty in a way, but a real person playing it and not altered at all. Like it's just really good.
That's awesome, man.
I've been listening to that a lot. It's not for everybody. I think it's one of those kind of listens where you might like, shake your head a little bit to it, but you give it enough tries, I just can't stop listening. But yeah, I would say that's
that is playing bass with your feet. So you know it.
He showed me at one practice.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Dude, awesome. So it's like, is that new stuff?
Yeah, let me actually look at the year. I think that's this year, or it could be last year.
That is nuts.
Oh no, it's actually 2022.
That's not bad. That's pretty awesome.
That's the first record too.
Dude, how do you play bass with your feet?
Well, yeah, it's literally the whole entire time, and then she's up here doing all this while doing all the bass. It's something to see. Like it really is. You have to see the performance. Like that's the best part.
That's great. I'm excited about that. That's awesome. Dude, now I got one up Storms.
Sorry, I know I came out of left field. Like it's super weird.
Like, oh yeah. Well, I got something. I got something cool.
I was just looking at my recent. I was like, yeah, I could talk about them.
I know where to look. I know where to look at my stuff. I'm trying to keep up with it better here lately and everything. I'm listening to whole records again. Let's enjoy that more. Oh God. Okay. I mentioned this band. I have to mention this band. Okay, so I discovered this band. Uh, this band is not around anymore. I don't think. This record is the band is called Annihilation Time, and it came out. The album is called it's Roman numeral 2 is the name of the record, and it came out in 2004. So, okay, this is unlike at the first listen, I was like, I don't know about this, but as I was listening to the record, I go, okay, I'm liking this. So picture this: this group, you, and Brett, we time travel back to 1975. We're here with all the knowledge we have about hardcore, okay? And we're in the 70s, in the middle of the 70s. We're like, you know what? Let's write hardcore from a 70s rock perspective. We're just going to write with all our equipment, all our guitars. And we're just going to write 70s rock, but we're going to write hardcore 70s rock. And this is what that is. And they do a phenomenal job at this. And I've never heard this band before. I was actually going through a guy's top 100 hardcore records of the 2000s. And this one was mentioned. It's not no particular order. So I was like, I'm just going to check it out. I have no idea what it sounds like. So I did, and I'm happy for it. The song Panic is fantastic. Listen, start with that one. I mean, whole records. You got to keep open mind, though. I mean, it's like, it's like, I get it. I go, man, that's crazy. I mean, and I think nowadays, too, we got talking to Daryl last week about how there's all these genres. Like, it's like hardcore, and it's kind of like bringing in, like, welcoming all these other genres. It's kind of like blending all these different elements and making some beautiful, like, really cool music now.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think this band was ahead of its time. So anyway, Annihilation Time.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely wrote that one down.
Bro, you are. I'm looking at Brett. Brett is like, he's like, whoa. It's yeah, it's great. You'll enjoy it, buddy.
Oh, I love that. Another one on mine. So a couple of years back, we played a show over at Growlers in Memphis. Well, even before that, so the first trip the band took together, we went up to see an Architects, Ours Murder, While She Sleeps show in St. Louis. That was a great trip. It was a really cool bonding experience.
Yeah.
Outside of the venue, now they're on a label. They just put out their second album, which this isn't the band I'm talking about, but met this band, Summoning the Witch, which they're amazing. Like, need to listen to more of them. We met them out on their band and stuff, and we just thought they were so cool. And then years later, they hit us up and they're like, "Hey, we're coming down to Growlers. We need some bands to open it up and put it together." So we jumped on that, and again, not the song I'm mentioning here, but I do want to say everybody should be listening to some of them. They're fantastic. But they brought their friends with them, this band called Polterguts, and they just have such a cool sound. It's like so heavy and like real bassy, but it just has this groove to it.
Sure.
That I don't know. I can't get enough of it. And they just put out an EP, and one of the last song on this EP is a little 3-song EP. The last song called Jaundice Joplin. But
it's a name I expect from Poltergeist.
Yeah. Oh, they're just so good. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like it's so heavy, but then there's such like a groove to it that just
you're a fan of this band.
Oh yeah. No,
Please tell me you own like a band shirt. You own any T-shirts from this band?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you need to. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times it's like we book these shows and then all right, I'm spending money. If I pay bills, I'm like, all right, now we got to get to the show. I get to the show, I was like, I feel like Patrick, $3. I will eventually get your shirt, and I've got a lot of bands that I owe buying a shirt to, and I got to catch up on, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. For my number 2, I'm gonna go to a little boring, not so much of an interest. We've already talked about him, but just like looking at the recents. Drain, California Curse.
Bro,
Just
dynamite record.
gosh,
Dynamite.
it's so good. It's perfect from beginning to end. Just really cool, like we were talking like 80s thrash riffs, but
Yeah.
with like breakdowns and just everything that it's truly probably I think they've skyrocketed to being one of my favorite bands of all time.
Well,
Like just
yeah.
just with these last two releases, like 2 albums in, and I mean they're both just as good. Like they're genuinely just as good as each other. Yeah, I think that band has just got like the best future ahead of them, and
They do.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
The energy level of that band,
Yeah.
the energy is unreal. I think that's one thing that really kind of really pulled me to bands like Drain and bands like Mind Force or Vane. I know Vane's still different.
Yeah.
But the constant we're moving. You know, I mean, even like you watch even Kubla Khan stuff, like when they were playing at LBD in Kentucky, it's like we're moving, like just this constant, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, they're just like picking up the pace, and like you have the singer, it's just like no, it's kind of like your worst nightmare of like an aerobic instructor or stuff like keep moving, no breaks, let's go. Yeah, or Scott Vogel from Terror, it's like more stage out, go. You know, it's just like I love the energy, you know. So I'm like, but I think it's one thing that really, because your record is one thing, but like seeing them and everything, or you can go online and see it. It's just like, bro. I mean, I'd have a soaked t-shirt too.
I wanted to
and
go
gross.
see them so bad in that Little Rock show recently, and unfortunately, I could not make it
Oh,
because of
man.
work. But yeah, I was so upset. I've been looking forward to it for
I
so
think
long.
that they're gonna be on this new tour with Knock Loose, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be like Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe the closest show. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be that's gonna be a nightmare of a show. I mean, in a good way.
In the good way.
It's awesome. But Drain California Curse is phenomenal. Man. Good choice, man. Let's see what I'm gonna do here. All right, I got a one-up story. That's okay. So let me figure it out here. So okay, looking across here, those are some old jams. I don't want to do any old jams. Let's do new jams. I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't have anything new. I'll just kind of like I'm gonna go old school again. That's just what I'm gonna do. Go listen to. I mean, I went on the way home. I don't know. It's just yesterday. On the way home, I listened to. Always go back to the band Nothing. I love Nothing. They have a album called Tired of Tomorrow. Really good. You know, they do what they do very, very well. Probably one of their best records, you know, arguably, and everything. So if you like kind of like shoegazy, like existential type music, you know, it's kind of droning, and then this is half your thing. You know, I love it. They're kind of like, you know, they have a lot of ties to hardcore and everything. I think the bass player, he still plays. The bass player, well, he was in Jesus Piece while he was singing for Jesus Piece, playing bass for Nothing. So that's kind of a cool connection there. So yeah, love that band. The whole record, like they have like a deluxe edition that's like 56 minutes long. So and always, if you get any chance to go see them, we got to go up to St. Louis. Well, it was a couple years back, and I expected a packed house, and it was only like 70 people there, but like man, still just an enjoyable, just to kind of watch. The only thing annoying about that show is like the college kids that wouldn't stop moshing. Like, why are you moshing to a Nothing show? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, I go, you need to know when the dance parts are and when they're not. Anyway, so
Very elitist of you.
no, they're college kids. They're smarter than that. Anyway, this is not your show. Anyway, so this is the show where you just kind of gaze and watch and enjoy. Anyway, but so listen to that whole record. What's a good record? The Dead or Dumb. That's a good record. That's a good song. Listen to that one. All right, that's it for me, right?
Yeah, I got
Did
three.
you have three?
Right, no, wait, that's
No, you're on your third now.
You're on your
Yeah.
third, so I'm done.
you're
Yeah.
done.
I'm done.
I'm just
Hey,
getting
he's
finished.
just
Uh, so a band that I can't praise enough. There's this band out of Kentucky called Fox Bad.
Hmm.
Uh,
Wait a second. What? Is that the band? Is that the same band that were handing out like backpacks at Furnace Fest?
Yeah.
They
They went
probably
to-
were.
It was
Because
2
we
years
were,
ago, right?
huh?
The first year they came
The
back.
first year, the first Furnace Fest, we're waiting in line
I
to
got
get in there.
sunglasses and a backpack.
I was like, they were handing out that. That is weird.
Yes.
That's the second time I've heard that name.
Oh yeah.
They were just handing out like, hey, you want to buy it? It's like one of those drawstring backpacks
Mhm.
they're selling.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me all about them, Brett.
I mean,
Like I'm trying.
I had first heard of them whenever we were supposed to do the whole Kentucky Irate Fest thing. They're from Kentucky, and they were one of the locals that were on the bill. And I just remember me and Alex seeing them post up there like, who's coming up to do the beer chug during our set and stuff. And we kind of ripped back and forth with them a little. And then I just started listening to them. And I was like, oh, this is like the stuff I love. It's got like that Every Time I Die, He's Legend kind of energy. And they've got some of the catchiest hooks
Oh, nice.
from like a rock, hardcore Jason type band that I've heard.
Right.
No, I mean, they've got some really great aggressive parts like the hooks they put in their songs, like I'm just
I love it.
riding in my veins.
Yeah.
So they just put out, I guess last year they put out 2 singles since the last album. The most recent one they put out, I can't remember if it came out this year or last, but Foxbat put out a song called Storm Weather. It's the newest thing. I mean, the guitar riffs are great, and just like I said, the hooks they have in their choruses are just
Are you a big Every Time I Die fan?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
That's what I was saying whenever we talked
Yeah.
about like a genre change. Because he knows in the chat all the time. I'm like, hey, you hear this? Every time I
Yes.
die, playing new stuff.
That's awesome. What do you think of the new stuff that Buckley's doing in Many Eyes?
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like I'm trying not to be one that's like
Oh yeah.
taking sides
Taking
between
sides.
split between them and Better Lovers. I am going to say I think Better Lovers is putting out stuff that I'm enjoying a little more.
Right.
But I'm really enjoying Many Eyes stuff too. And I mean, if we can't get any new Every Time I Die, I'm glad we're getting these 2 bands.
Right. That's incredible. Yeah. So Foxbat.
Yes.
Now I'm a fan. Okay.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Number 3, which honestly I'm just going to say is number 1 for me. And Brett's probably wondering why I haven't even mentioned this album yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Silos' Monolith. Yeah, he was waiting for it.
What?
Silos' Monolith. It's my favorite record of all time.
Storm's the biggest Silos.
Yeah, it's the only tattoo I've got on my body. Yeah, that record came out in 2012. They're from Reading, UK. So they've played in America twice. Like that, they've not really come down here very much or over here, but it's like an amalgamation of melodic death metal, thrash metal. I don't even really. It's like that's what I love about them so much is that there's really no way for at least me to define them. It's you can tell that their lead writer, the guitarist and vocalist, just has a lot of different music tastes and just wanted to create something that just is like I said, an amalgamation. But yeah, that record probably got me into writing music in the first place.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, like before I was just I wasn't really writing. I was just kind of messing around and stuff. And then I heard that record and I was like, I didn't know something like this could be written. So just well made. Like,
how do you end up finding a band like that?
YouTube. Yeah. It was just a YouTube video. I was just browsing YouTube when I was however old I was back then. And I just saw it and I was like, okay, I'll click that. And it was one of those things where it just grabbed me. And I was like, okay, we'll check out their other,
That's cool. That's cool.
And yeah, I think I just want to point out one thing that I try to really pull from them when it comes to my writing and stuff, especially with this band, is each song on that record, it's 12 tracks or 11 tracks. Yeah, I think 11 tracks. They all just sound unique from each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they all have their own character. You can tell they fit as a whole package, but you can easily tell that this is a different song. This is a different song. This
I
is
like that.
And with the Point Blank and with the Eternal, the last album, that's something I strive to do. I try my best to give each song its own character so that like it just kind of like feels like its own. And sometimes that can be a problem because one person might like that one song but hate the rest of the record. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's a big thing that's on that record, and I just super inspired by it, and probably will be for the rest of my life. I think it'll always be my number one.
That's awesome. That's a kind of a cool takeaway from a record to inspire like you as a musician.
Yeah.
Just that it can kind of carry over into any genre you do. You know what I'm saying? If you were kind of to do like, hey man, the Delirium Effect, the next year, I'm just being facetious, they're gonna start writing like pop records or blues records, but carry over that like the ethos, like make each song tell its own story to be like unique to its own.
Yeah, it's also
that's cool. That's cool.
It's also a concept. So they're all stories told that connect.
That dude.
And it's an E standard, by the way. The guitar play E standard in that record. It's crazy.
I hate those guys.
They used to be me.
I'm joking. I always talk to people who are like, I do play acoustic guitar, and I'm like, no, I don't. I go, I can't. I go, my hands won't do the things that it's required to play a E standard guitar,
Yeah.
But it's like that's probably why I played like drop tune, because like all my favorite bands are doing something. So it was always about mimicking like what they were doing. It's like even if I wasn't following the rules, like whatever their fingers are doing on their fretboard, that's what I want to do. What I'm saying? To make it sound like that. I remember like I think one of those bands was like, for me, it was like back in the days was listening to Hopes Fall. And I was like, man, and I was messing around on the fretboard to go, and I did this thing where I kind of like barred one, I don't know, like the top two strings, and I did like I think the next fret over, I just kind of like put my third finger on the fourth string, and I was strumming. I go, that's what Hopes Fall. That's what Hopes Fall does, So it's like that's how they're doing it, and so it's like when the mystery begins to unlock and everything, it is so inspiring. And that's what's so infectious about songwriting. And I appreciate there is I could tell there's some romanticism from Storm about the writing, because it is a beautiful thing, because we are making art, and it means the world to you, because you're kind of making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, it's just like, this mystery and this, anyway.
Yeah.
I can romanticize on that forever. I think it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
So.
Romanticize is the perfect word for that.
I was just thinking it's kind of funny when Storm was talking about when we first heard them through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times, if you'll see, whenever we get together, it almost feels like an anime battle. Like, me and Storm would be like, have you heard this new album? And I'll be like, yes, I have. And it's like, no, I haven't heard this one. And this one always just bounces.
Yeah, or weird each other out with the weirdest music we found.
You held on to that thought for so long. Yeah. You were waiting.
That is great. I love it.
Yeah, and then it was always funny because, like, back a few years back in the band chat, me and Stern would be doing that. Then, like, a week later or two, someone come in and be like, have you guys heard this song? And then we'd be like, we literally talked about it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Like, you gotta catch up.
Yeah. That is so 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But this is great, man. This is fantastic. I mean, I cannot tell you genuinely how wonderful it is to have you guys here. I'm super psyched for you guys and what's kind of going on. I could tell like the fire is burning and everything, and it's great. I'm glad the podcast kind of happened today. Because the show is tonight. By the time people hear this could be ancient history or whatever. But thank you guys for making time and doing this, and that means the world to me. I haven't always tell her all the time, face-to-face conversations, just kind of digging deep, sitting at a table is like maybe one of the lost, things. And nowadays, hoping to have in-depth conversations about, especially something we love, together, with good friends who kind of share the same, sentiments and stuff. And you don't sound like a weirdo when you're trying to talk to somebody at work about. It's like, so I found like I'm kind of like a stranger in a strange land, trying to talk about what I do, like play music. To people at work, like, so what, you play in a band, makes a lot of noise. You scream.
I'll have people at work that I know that do not listen to this kind of music and be like, oh, so you're playing a show tonight? I'm like, yeah, I play a show. They're like, I should come. I'm like, go ahead. I mean, you might not like it, but.
Or they might get infected.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would never turn anybody away. I just feel like I was kind of giggle at myself about it.
You know, sometimes it surprises you though, like because like people at my job, once they found that I don't really go around and say I'm in this band because they're not usually into the stuff
Yeah.
that we do, and so then people started finding out. I was like, oh no, they're gonna like they're either gonna do that scream on me.
Yeah.
It's gonna just be like, I didn't know this. But actually, surprisingly, I've had quite a few people at work come up and be like, I thought that video was really cool.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Like one guy was like, I added the song in the video to my playlist and stuff. I was like, oh wow, okay.
That's awesome.
That's great, though. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's still always like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about my personal life here.
My favorite comment to get is, I like the music, but I just can't understand what they're saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite one.
And I'm like,
I can't either. But you feel it, and that's what matters.
I mean, I can make it out a lot better than I could when
Oh,
I first heard it. But there's, what was it? I was recently going through adding all the lyrics to our music. I was like, I didn't know you said any of that.
Well, I think that thing is like,
That's great.
you know, they're just throwing a bunch of vowels and consonants together. They're not really, saying anything, important or whatever. But no, but it's just like Lonnie always said. Lonnie's like, this is kind of like music. You kind of have to go just experience it for yourself. You know,
Exactly.
can't really judge it just by like listening to it. I think that's what it was. I think if I would have heard it, because that was a good point he brought up. He's like, if I would have heard it outside going to a show and seeing it in person, I would have had a different opinion of it for sure. Because you can't really get all that energy, and even watching it like on YouTube or H856 or whatever type of thing, it's like you're still not getting. I mean, you're definitely inspired. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
Right.
But once you kind of step into the room, it's a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
It's as well. And so I mean, one last question. How do you? I mean, your family. I mean, how do they think about what? I mean, are they like your mom, your dad, or what do they think about your music? Or do they even know what you do, like this secret life of yours?
Well, my mom definitely knows since we shot the All Out music video over there. My dad is really big. Like he's really big into it because he's like, whenever I was a kid, it was always like either you're going to be a musician or you're going to play sports. That was just like the two obsessions. Okay. And he didn't know which way I was going to go. And then obviously I went down the music route. But so yeah, he's a big supporter of it. I mean, it's not his kind of music, of course, that, but he's always like really excited to hear about it and stuff like that. I remember he came to one of our Resurrection Man show back in 2009, I think 2010. And he was filming, like sitting in the back, just filming his whole play. So yeah, he's always been really supportive.
Great, man.
My mom, on the other hand, not her type of music, but like big time.
Wait, is she the background behind? Like, is she the one like doing laundry behind the?
Oh no, that is Jordan's wife, Amy.
Amy? Yeah. Who is that?
That's Jordan's.
I was like, who is that in the background? I could not tell. Okay, so I was like, somebody just wanted to get into. Shout out Jordan's wife. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So my family, they're nice enough about it. They don't really interact with it that much, but they don't condemn it or anything.
Yeah, I got you.
It does remind me of just one more story though that I always find funny. So one time they did decide to come to a show. That set with the memory band I had, we played at Juanita's in Little Rock. It was like a Sunday afternoon, a bunch of bands were playing. So my grandparents and my mom showed up. And I just always think it's the funniest thing. I wish I could find the picture, but I don't know where it went. So my grandpa's very, just say whatever. And there were a couple of juggalos there, like in face paint and stuff. They were there to see one of the bands.
Oh, gotcha.
And he'd never seen a juggalo before. And he's outside. He's like, serious as can be. He's like, you boys in town with the circus? And they were like, what? The jugglers were here to watch this thing. And then he got them to take a picture with him. And I wish I could find it. There's a picture somewhere of my grandfather with 2 juggalos and face paint.
I would use that as our next album art.
Oh, my
I
God.
think it got lost through time because, I mean, you know, this was
Oh.
2009, 2010.
Oh, that's the
That's
best.
so
But,
funny. That's so great.
I would have loved to be in proximity of that comment. Oh,
I
my
love
God.
it. But, yeah, they don't. I mean, it's not their thing. They don't
Yeah.
say anything negative
Yeah.
about it, but they don't really.
Yeah, I
Which is
Yeah, it's not your thing. It's not your thing.
That's like my mom. My mom was like, "Have a good show."
fair.
It's like,
I'll
or
be
she's
here.
like, "I can't share the flyer." I'm like, "Thanks. I'll
No,
I'll help you out."
yeah, she can't figure out how to.
Oh yeah, that might be it too. She can't figure it out. Shout out, mom. Feeling better. Okay.
Shout out, Mom.
Well, guys, I do appreciate it. I love you, dudes. I'm excited about tonight.
Me
I
too.
think it's gonna be a good time. But as always, I love to sit here and talk to you, beautiful, amazing gentlemen, all day. But I got a thing I got to do. You guys take care, okay?
All right,
I will
appreciate
see you
Appreciate it.
tonight. And bye.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Hurt your feelings, you don't want to work with me anymore. Okay.